I've remembered my Johnny Marr point.
Oh, Christ on a bike.
Oh,
Go on.
thank God
He
for
doesn't-
that. You've been vacant.
He
Vacant
doesn't
for 20
like
minutes.
looking back, and then a few years ago, he listened to Strange Ways, Here We Come, which he hadn't listened to for over 20 years, and he said he remembered every single note. There wasn't an aspect of that album that wasn't seared onto his mind.
But did he like it?
That's the
I think he did like. I think he's proud of the Smiths.
Good.
Yeah.
So we should.
I just think that once the band had split up, he wanted to do something different. So he worked with Bernard Sumner. And
Although Johnny Marr was a huge, it's him and Morrissey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The two. The most instantly recognisable of that band. But of those, it would still be, to the casual observer, it would be Morrissey's band, wouldn't it? There's probably an aspect of that if you're the guitarist. If you're a genius like Johnny Marr.
they were the 1980s Lennon and McCartney, or the 1980s Jagger and Richards, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And they had that amazingly potent, fertile, creative relationship. But then since they split up in 1987, I don't think they'd recorded it since 1986. Wow. Yeah, the band officially split up in 1987. They were only together for 5 years.
Bloody hell, I didn't know that.
And the thing with the Smiths as well, Johnny Marr was on Top of the Pops with This Charming Man, which he wrote more quickly than he can play it, because it just came out of him.
Yeah.
And they thought, I'll do that twice, and then that's
Great,
your song.
nailed it.
He was on Top of the Pops. He was about 18. I mean, he was really, really young. He was actually younger than people like Ian Brown and John Squire and Sean Ryder of the Happy Mondays, who came along much later. He was this prodigious talent, brilliant from a very, very young age. And they had this amazingly fertile, creative relationship. But then, since the band split up, they've just gone in such completely different directions.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's because he plays Smith songs live. And he sings, obviously, but I think he's proud of the stuff. I just don't think he wants to work with Morrissey ever again.
Well, I was just singing with a few mates of mine in only like a local band. We never really gigged. We used to get together and have a jam and do songs. But the guitarist there, my mate Paul, if we did like a Smith song, he'd be like, "Oh God." I was like, "What's the matter?" He's like, "Do you know how hard Johnny Marr?"
Do you know how difficult this is going to be?
Oh my God, a nightmare. He's a gifted bloke, Johnny Marr. Yeah. I met him once. He played in Cardiff.
No, you sound like Glyn off Grand Slam there. Steve Fenwick's a friend of mine. Is he? I met him.
I went to a gig.
No,
I met him. I was 12 rows back.
He was playing. So the Cribs were playing a gig in Cardiff.
Yeah.
And they all went for a drink in Crwby Verbach, the little indie club in Cardiff, afterwards.
Oh, cool.
So when he walked in, my then girlfriend was DJing, and the place went absolutely mental because Johnny Marr's in an indie club that's got 100 people in it.
Yeah.
So he sort of took refuge in the DJ booth because people were hassling him so much. So she texted me, she said, "I've told him all about you, that you're a big fan, and he'd love to meet you, so come down." And I got so starstruck. I was at home like watching Match of the Day or something. But I thought, I can't do this. So I turned my phone off. I thought, no way. And then the next day...
You twat.
Put it in the washing machine and ran away.
The next day, my social media was just ablaze with people who'd met him. Because word had got around Cardiff that he was in club and that he was approachable. So everyone had a selfie and all that kind of stuff. And I really regretted it. And I thought, right, if I ever get a chance to meet him after that, I'll have to grab it with both hands. And then he did a Radio X gig. Yeah. And obviously, when I was working at the station, so I talked to Mike Walsh, who was head of music, and I said, "Can I meet him? Because I fucked it up about 10 years ago. I'd love to meet him, and I think I'm ready. I think I'm emotionally and physically ready to meet him this time." And Mike said, "Yeah, of course you can." So he did a little gig, and then he did a Q&A with John Kennedy. After that, it was about an hour and a half. We went into the little dressing room they had for that kind of thing. And it was just Mike Walsh and Johnny Marr and me and another DJ on the station. And because I'd just been watching the band on my own, I hadn't said anything. I hadn't spoken for about an hour and a half. I'd just gone straight into the little room where I knew we'd be.
Love you.
But what happened was, and this has never happened to me, but it had never happened to me before, it's never happened to me since, because I hadn't spoken for about an hour and a half, when I was introduced to him, my voice came out probably 3 octaves higher than it usually is. So he went, So Mike Walsh went, Johnny, this is Elis. He does our Saturday afternoon show. He's a big fan. He'd love to meet you. And Johnny went, hi, I'm Johnny. And I went, hiya, Johnny, it's Elis. Lovely gig. Such a great choice of songs. And lovely to hear all the songs that I haven't heard for so long. And I thought, right, well, this is going worse than I'd expected. And I thought, well, it's fine, you haven't spoken for a bit, so I'll have a sip of water or have a sip of beer and then clear your throat and then you'll be normal again.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, it's good out there, actually. Yeah, it's nice, yeah. You know, it's just good to play in little intimate rooms where you can see, whites of people's eyes. I was like, so I went, yeah, I imagine you don't get many gigs this intimate anymore, do you, Johnny? He was like, no, I don't actually. I was like,
Hey, John.
interesting mix of old and new. And I thought, what the fuck
What
is
going
happening
on?
to you?
Go through
Your
reverse
voice
puberty.
broke 20 years ago. Come on, man. And he was like, yeah, it's good. Radio X would be dead good to me.
What's up with your voice, Al?
Because you played the
Listen to you on the radio and everything. You sound fucking weird today.
Yeah. The fact you played the record so much, it means a lot to me. I was like, yeah, well, we play it twice an hour, actually. And I was, come on, Elis. And it just went from bad to worse. So I would go off to the corner because I didn't want to leave the room entirely. Because I thought if I leave the room entirely, that would be
Such a
his
sad
cue
twat.
to leave.
Yeah.
So he was sitting there eating grapes, and I would go off into the corner, and I would just go, and then I would go back,
Who's
and
your mate with the Tourette's?
my voice was just as high as it had been before.
You look like fucking
It
John's
was-
Not Mad from the 80s.
I looked like I had TB, is what I looked like. So yeah, and then it was Dan O'Connell's the other DJ, and Dan's very tattooed and Johnny's tattooed, and Johnny likes music, I like music, we like similar music, that's great. He likes football, he supports Man City, I like football, I know about Man City. There are so many things I could have talked to him about. The one thing I've got nothing on is tattoos. So as soon as they started talking about a tattoo parlour in LA that I'd never heard of,
Yeah.
that obviously I then drifted out of the
You thought,
conversation.
now it's time to chip in, did you?
Yeah. So I would have a big old cough, and then I would chip in with, but what do they look like when you're old is what I always think of when I think of tattoos. And then he'd sort of look at me and Dan. It was fucking awful.
It's supposed to be quite painful in your elbow, isn't it?
And on your ankle is painful as well, Johnny.
I admit him, I got tattooed on his foot. He said it was proper painful.
Yeah, he said it killed. Does it kill?
Does it kill?
I knew a girl had it. She had a tattoo on the inside of her lip, like it said "fuck off" on the inside of her lip.
Yeah. Spider's web on your face as well. Which is quite a...
Is it true, John, that back in the old days in the police you couldn't have any visible tattoos?
It's got a confronting look, is it? The spider's web and clown's tears.
Yeah.
Anyway, go, good gig. It was fucking...
Take care now, John.
Horrendous.
Give her love to, who was the fella Morrissey in there? You still mates with him?
A fella.
You're still mates with him.
As I walked out...
You still bet this in here with the two of you?
As I walked out, Mike Walsh...
No point falling over stuff, is there? No point crying over spilt milk like in it, John.
He said I was...
Ta-da!
He said I was that, Al. And it gave me a thumbs up, and I went, fucking horrendous! Anyway, see you on Saturday!
And yeah, somebody white. Yeah, I thought about having a tattoo, like, but I never cared enough about something, because I think if I'm going to have a tattoo, like, it should mean something, innit? That's what I always say about tattoos. I always say that about tattoos, don't I? All of the boys in the studio will tell you I'm saying that about tattoos yesterday, won't I love tattoos, I do. I haven't got any, like, but I love looking at some of them. Not all of them, only some of them. I think some of them don't mean nothing.
I'm thinking of having a big ankle on my arm like I was in the Merchant Navy in the olden days. But I don't know, see, because I never have been in the Merchant Navy. I
could have like a cab on there, like, cause I actually quite like the police, and I like to look a bit edgy, like. Anyway, all the best, take care, God bless, ta-ra. Give me left to Mr. Morris when you see him, anyway.
Mr. Morris.
Oh, Jonathan Marr and Stephen Morris.
At your service. I've got to take my top off in a minute.
Sweating.
I gotta show me, I got tattoos on me, and I love, well, I say I love them, like, I've had one of those henna ones, you know, I had one of those, but I had an allergic reaction, I did, and my face went up like a big balloon, so, but you can get allergic to proper tattoos. No? Why, you're not talking to me, okay? Sorry, Johnny, I'm a gobbler. If I did have a tattoo, I'd probably say gobbler, innit? I was saying the other day, I was saying, oh, when I have a tattoo, I'm having a gobbler on it, like, gobbler. I mean, knuckles, like, G-A-B-B. And then a full stop to make that 8, didn't it? That's fingers. And then for the thumbs, I'd have Mr. Space Gobbler, 10.
Anyway, I'm parked in the NCP and it costs an arm and a leg, so I gotta go, Mr. Johnny.
Mr. Johnny.
You probably bring him park on double yellows, you're so famous. Like Princess Bloody Diana, you are. God rest her soul.
You and Mr. Morris.
God rest his soul.
But there we are, John. It's one rule for you and one rule for us normal people, isn't it? Get out of the fucking tattoo.
I suppose if you run out of body, you could just have it as an acronym, but it would take a lot of explanation, wouldn't it?
I suppose you're so rich now, John, you could shave a cat and tattoo that in lieu of like any more body parts.
Do you play guitar every day?
I can strum. I can strum a couple of notes. Like, I'm not a bad strummer. Should we have a strum?
Can I touch your guitar? Can I hold it?
Have you heard of the Rebecca riots, John?
I mean, this is basically what it was like.
Where do you stand on poverty in 18th century Carmarthen, Johnny?
Hope you enjoyed that little extract from our archives of the Socially Distant Sports Bar. What you can do now is scroll through the episode description, find the episode that was from, and disappear off into our archives. Get yourself off on a journey around the Socially Distant Sports Bar.